This is Couples Court with the Cutlers.
He sounds like the perfect guy. Where did this go wrong?
He has an ex that was a mutual friend of ours. In fact, the day that I brought him over there to her house, we were picking her up. She had been drinking the night before. Well, she covers up her head. She said, "What's his name?" And I said, "Chris Hendricks." And she's like, "Oh my God, I had a past from like way back in high school with him."
Okay.
About a week after he proposed to me, she calls me up and she said, "You'll never know how he feels because he's never going to tell you." And I said, "Excuse me? What are you talking about?" She says, "Well, you know, whenever he proposed to you, it should have been me." I said, "Excuse me? That was almost 20 years ago."
Is this ex still in love with you?
Obviously, yes. I got a lot of them.
Oh, no.
A lot of exes or a lot of exes that are still in love with you?
I got a lot of exes and they're still in love with me.
That's not a lie. They contact him all the time. I mean, there's another time I called his job and a woman was like, "Well, who is this?" And I said, "Well, his wife." And she said, "What? He has a wife?" And she slams the phone down. He gets on the phone. He actually tells me not to call his job and tell them that I'm his wife. You still, to this day, have never explained that to me. And that was within the first year we were married.
It's a chef thing.
Okay, well, what about whenever your ex that I was telling you about earlier, well, a mutual friend of mine and hers had passed away. So I went and picked her up to go to the funeral with me.
Okay, so wait. You picked her up, took her to the funeral. Did she stay in your home?
She stayed at my mother's home, yes.
Okay.
We lived there because my mother is disabled. So we lived there taking care of her. And I went outside to smoke. She was in the shower whenever I left. Whenever I came back in, she was naked on the bed, and Chris was in there. He was turned towards the window, but you know how easy is it to flip around? You know, for all I know, the story that I got from her was he was trying to get an erection, and he couldn't because he was afraid I was going to walk in like I did. He turned around to button up his pants.
Didn't happen either.
Well, Mr. Hendricks, why is there some naked woman in the room where you are other than your wife?
She invited her to stay. She's the one that jumped out of the shower and came into the same bedroom we were staying in.
Why were you in there, though? Why didn't you leave the room?
I was already there. Why do you think I was turning?
Why didn't you leave the room?
Man.
I mean, if there was a naked man on the bed with me or in the room, I'm pretty sure there would have been fights.
She was in a towel at first.
Okay. If she was in the towel at first, where was the towel when I walked in for
Ask
one?
her. She
All right,
took it off.
hold on. Why didn't you just leave the room?
I was in shock and awe about, hey, she
If you
came
were
out of the
facing
shower.
the doorway, you would have been facing me. There wouldn't be an issue.
How long were you in the room with her naked?
Oh, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops.
Thank you.
10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
10 or 15?
No, you couldn't be. Not 1 minute, not 1 second. That's
I thought it
unacceptable.
was say 10 to 15 seconds.
Seconds, yes. Like she drops her towel, you go out.
And then
She was sitting on
so
my
just-
bed naked.
And Mr. Hendricks was asked, has he had any sexual contact or intercourse with a woman he had an emotional affair with? What was his response to that question?
He responded no.
What did the lie detector determine? What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
Thank you. Wanted to get that out. That's been a big shadow over this marriage, and she just found out I'd never touched her.
Well, we have a couple more questions. Mr. Hendricks was also asked, has he had sexual contact or intercourse with 2 of his co-workers? What was his response?
He responded no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
And the final question, Mr. Hendricks was asked, had he had sex with his ex? What was his response?
His response was no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
What do you want to tell your husband?
I'm sorry.
Almost a decade together. You think I'd give it up? That easy? Flirting's one thing. I'd never stab you in the back that way.
And I do love you. You know that.
I love you. You and the kids are my life.
Mr. Hendricks, I feel you feeling this.
I feel everything. I just got a thick shell when it comes to showing it. This is what I came here to prove.
Break that shell and tell her how you feel right now.
Want to go home and be happy. Start all over.
I do too, more than any.
Mr. Cutler, this sounds lovely.
A great beginning.
Then that just leads me to the question. What broke the trust?
Messages, Facebook messages.
I
got a message.
Hold on.
I got a message from a girl when I was actually pregnant saying I need to stay in a baby mama's place, and she's sitting on my man's face.
Sitting on his face.
Yes.
Okay, so how did she know her? How did she have her direct message? And moreover, what kind of boldness is it to say, you pregnant, and I'm sitting on your man's face?
I don't know where the lady, whoever the lady is, I don't know where she got that kind of mouthpiece from, but ain't nobody finna sit on my face. That ain't my part of my life.
So you denied that happened?
My girl know me, and she know one thing about me is I don't like to even do nothing like that.
So what happened when you said to him, look at this? What happened?
She didn't tell me. She threw it at my face, and then she got mad and left.
Tell me what you said to her.
I chunked the phone at him, and then I told him, I was like, you're always saying you don't know who these people are, but why would she even get in my inbox and say anything like that if it wasn't
You
true?
make girls mad before they even can talk. You will make a girl mad just because they say hi. Then you come to me like, who was that girl that said hi to you? I don't know. It'd be random like...
Ms. Gregory, are there any women in particular that you think he's cheating with?
Yeah, his ex, basically the mother of his child.
All right, and why do you think he's cheating with his ex-girlfriend?
Because that's my best friend.
We had an incident where he left me, and well, I find a pizza receipt in his email, and it's to her address. So when I confronted him about it, he was like, I just ordered the pizza there. But on the email, it says you paid with cash. So, like, how you just order it to her?
Move.
How you just order it to her house
my
and you paid
email?
with
How you
cash?
on my email figuring out it paid with cash?
And then they got another post. There's like a little.
That's what I'm saying. That's an FBI
There's a private
agent.
group in where we're from.
Well, hold on. All right. So, Mr. Hives-Gray, why were you ordering pizza at your ex-girlfriend's place, who's your best friend?
I ordered the pizza for my son. They was hungry, so I ordered some food.
Okay, Kyla, I gotta say, him ordering food to feed his son, you can't be mad about that. My question is...
I agree.
This is a 3-year argument and fight that come up every time.
Okay, hold that thought.
You holding 3
Why is this concerning to you?
Anything. I can't be on nothing. I can't be on no social site. But they're Facebook friends.
No.
And his excuse is, because you're going to tag me and stuff. But you got a whole post where she tagged you in something and you guys are going back and forth talking about how much you guys love each other.
I'm looking at these messages that were submitted to the court. Your ex posted, my child's father is doing so much better with his son. Baby. It's a lesson, he growing, thanks, baby daddy. Then you responded, made my week, baby mama.
Yep.
And then she responded, oh, that's the vibe. I love our vibe.
Yep. Been vibing.
And then you responded, been vibing since day one. This is the correspondence you've got going on with your ex, your best friend. Y'all been vibing since day one?
Not vibing like that. We just get along.
Neither of us are owing you about getting along with your son's mother. That is a beautiful thing. But the problem is, you talk about vibing since day one, and you may not admit it that way, but if it was me and Mr. Cutler and he put out he's vibing with somebody.
Since day one?
Since day one, I'd be a little tight. Number two, they're kissing face emojis back and forth.
It's not like kissy faces, just we strong.
All right, you don't believe that?
No.
Messed up before, but...
But in terms of your ex, you haven't been with your ex?
No.
And you don't believe that? Well, there's his side of the story, there's her side of the story, and then there's the ex's side of the story.
Right.
And we have her here. Ron, would you bring in the ex?
Go to the witness stand next to the judge.
Good
How are
day.
you?
Fine.
Right.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Michelle Bassett.
Ms. Bassett, are you familiar with our defendant, Mr. Hives-Gray?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you familiar with him?
That's my child's father.
So you're the ex in question?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you all date?
We dated for, I'm gonna say a couple of months.
And why did your relationship end?
He's a Mac daddy, because he'll tell you what you want to hear.
So let me ask you this. When you say that, did he cheat on you?
He did. I was pregnant, and he actually got somebody else pregnant while in the middle of us having our relationship.
All right. Do you believe he's cheating on Miss Gregory?
He's flirtatious. He liked to flirt.
Let me ask you the hard question. Have you been intimate with Mr. Hives-Gray since he's been with Miss Gregory?
No, ma'am. Baby, I moved on to bigger and better things.
What?
Do you consider him your best friend?
He is my best friend. I'm sorry that it seemed like I'm downing him right now, but I'm not. But I just want to get my point across. Like, that is not who I want. I don't want him. That's my baby dad. That's my child's father. Like, why can't we just be cordial and do it for our child? You know, co-parent. Why can't we just have a nice relationship? Everybody ain't got to be like, I don't like my baby daddy. I don't like my baby mama. We not like that. You know, we cool. We got a good relationship.
Let me just tell you, we applaud that. And it is amazing for a woman to recognize that her child is first. So we applaud that.
Yeah. I don't want my child to grow up thinking, oh, my daddy and my mama hate each other. Never. We don't hate each other at all. I love him to death. Like,
but not like that.
But not like that.
Okay.
At all.
All right.
You're a model.
Let me ask you this. Why do you believe that he's probably cheating?
Because he's very flirtatious.
Not cheating.
Engaging in other people's conversations or keep on entertaining the next person, that's cheating. That's still cheating. I look at that as still cheating, right? Just because you didn't touch the next girl don't mean that you're not cheating.
Thank you so much, Miss Bestback. So, Miss Gregory, I have to say I find her testimony absolutely credible. And my question to you is that, do you believe and are you assured that Mr. Hives-Gray is not, in fact, cheating on you with his ex?
Yeah.
You believe her?
Yes.
But your suspicions about other women, you still don't believe?
That stands.
You still believe
regardless
that?
of how I feel, I could be in his face crying and bawling and breaking down, can't breathe, and he's just like, oh, it's nothing, it's just conversation. It's like, what about me? That doesn't make me feel secure in the relationship at all. You say we're a team. You tell me that all the time. But if we're a team, why are you doing something I feel like that's tearing the team apart?
You let some other women tear us apart, that's your, I don't understand that.
If you're in their ear, of course it's going to make me feel some type of way.
That's your insecurity, bro.
You know, I am amazed by your disconnectedness. This woman is crying. She is saying to you, I love you, and I am insecure in this relationship. Would you be comfortable with her doing
I already
what you're
told
doing?
her I don't care, I ain't scared of no, I'm not worried about no man. I know God blessed my mama with a beautiful son, so me worrying about another man ain't in my MO. I sleep with you every night, I ain't worried about, I don't want nobody.
All right, Miss Gregory, we're about to go to the results. Mr. Hives-Gray, this is your chance, before we get the results from our expert, for you to come clean.
I'm ready for the results.
All right.
All right. To get to the bottom of this, the court had Mr. Hives-Gray to submit to a polygraph examination, and we have those results. The court would like to call certified polygraph examiner Michael Williams into the courtroom. Please escort Mr. Williams into the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Williams, all right, sir. We're going to put him on.
Mr. Williams, how are you today?
Doing fine. How are you?
Good, sir.
Good.
Mr. Hives-Gray was asked, during your 4-year relationship with Miss Gregory, have you had physical sexual contact with Miss Baspet? What was his response?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined he was being truthful.
I saw you clap.
Because that was a good thing. I'm really shocked. I guess I'll apologize for that one.
Love you. Told you.
Mr. Hives-Gray was asked, did you have sexual intercourse with a woman that messaged Miss Gregory, "You're at home pregnant while I'm sitting on your man's face." What was his response to that question?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
Well, Your Honor, the lie detector determined he was being truthful.
Well, Miss Gregory, I see tears in your eyes, but I'm wondering if those are tears of joy, tears of relief.
Relief.
Tears of... Tell me how you're feeling.
Maybe I have been a little bit too insecure. Probably the things from the past I probably should
Leave them
let
in the
go.
past.
Yeah.
I just want to be a better
It's
man.
just hard when you don't communicate.
But crying about it and acting up in front of people ain't working, and it ain't cute.
All right,
But
so
that
both
one
of
thing
you all
gotta stop.
agree that communication is necessary.
That's how communication rules the world. Without talking, you can't do nothing.
And you agree that you all need to communicate better.
We already agreed on that. Yes, we do. That's one of our
But that's half the battle right there.
Communication.
You know, half the battle is trying to get couples to even recognize that they've got a communication problem. So the fact that you all recognize it and know that you need to get better at it, that's half the battle right there. You need to allow him to be the father he needs to be, but you also need to allow him to be the boyfriend that he needs to be.
Right.
All that needs to work together. All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And as we say in this courtroom, do not cheat yourself out of an opportunity to have a happy, communication-filled relationship. Court is adjourned.
All right. Told you I wasn't doing it.